Hey guys, High Moon here, bringing you another LOL Mooncast. This is going to be Game 2 with Dimaga versus Puma. If you guys did not catch Game 1, I would recommend going back and checking that out. It was a really good game. Exciting openings from both players. Well, actually, it's kind of the way that Puma opened and how Dimaga responded to it. But anyways, it's a great game. You guys should definitely check it out. But here we are in Game 2 of the best of 3, and in Game 1 we saw Puma actually going for a 1-Rax command center and then quickly pulling down his third and gave him a really strong early game advantage, which he kind of gave up in the mid game but was actually able to pull out and just wipe out Dimaga's army in the late game. So he did take Game 1. And so we are now playing on Entomb Valley. So this is going to be actually it's going to be a little bit of an advantage for Dimaga. Now remember, if he loses this game, he will be out of the series, as it is 1-0 Puma. And this game, I did look up the map statistics. It has a 41-42% win for Terran versus Zerg. So that means there's about a 58% win rate for our Zerg players here. And I think it's really obvious why on this map. I mean, there's this huge center of the map. Sure, there are some side passages that, the Terran can use, but really the Zerg can just kind of run wild. In addition, there's so many expansions on this map. Not only that, but they're very close together, which really limits our Terran's ability to drop and take out the Zerg expansions, pick off some drones, do that harass. So I believe that dropping on this map is going to be much more difficult as opposed to many of our other maps. Now, getting back to the game here, it looks like Puma has decided to take his first extractor, so I don't think we're going to see that same play. In fact, we already have a tech lab coming down, so we're definitely not going to see that same play of a 1-Rax command center. We might go ahead and just see some standard Rax play to start off the game, and it looks like Dimaga did decide to go for the fast hatch once again. So he is opening similar to the way he did the last game. Both players have gone out to scout each other, so yeah, nothing out of the ordinary right now. I am interested in what Puma is going to put down with his tech lab, or if what is in production right now. He is going to open with a Reaper. So Reaper harass is, it can do a little bit. It can go here and there. They did have cross spawn positions, so it's going to take a long time for the Reaper to get across the field. But it looks like he has gone ahead and pulled down the command center again. So this is another 1-Rax Expo. But he did pick up his gas earlier, so I don't think we're going to see the same build. In fact, he is now moving over his barracks, possibly going to put down a factory. Yes, he is going to put down the factory at the main, and he's just going to use the 1 Reaper to go out and harass, which is nice because really his goal with the Reaper is, he could pick off a drone or two, but more importantly, he's going to force Dimaga to make some kind of defensive units, whether it just be a couple extra Zerglings, which of course are going to take away from any type of drones that he could be making, and it could, just put the queens in a difficult position. But I think Dimaga is going to be able to ward off. I mean, it's only one, but it looks like it will pick up its first kill, so it did take down 1 drone, and it's really just going to be in the face of Dimaga, just getting very annoying, but really it shouldn't be able to do that much. Unfortunately for Dimaga, there's really not that much creep spread down at all, so he will not be able to do much. And we are doing a swap from the factors from the tech lab and the reactor now. So we do have 1 Hellion coming out on the field. Excuse me. And actually we're going to have 2 Hellions coming out. So now we do have that reactor they simply switched over so that they could put down the reactor and quickly pick up the 2 Hellions. Now we do have the 3rd command center coming down. So Puma is really establishing himself as a macro type player here, especially in this series. I mean, 1-Rax factory into 3 command centers, and he has not even put down a bunker. He is going even more balls to the wall, but it looks like, as last game, when we saw the third command center coming down, and actually the hatch is behind the command center this time. So Dimaga is keeping up in the macro. Of course, he should be ahead. But what I was going to say, last game, at least there was a bunker at the front with 2 Marines. But this time, Puma's like, I don't even need a bunker. I'm going balls to the wall. He put out the Reaper simply to put pressure on Dimaga and kind of be able to do some scouting so that he knew he really didn't have to defend much. But I still think this third command center so early is really just really greedy from Puma. And I know it paid off pretty well last game, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it 2 games in a row. But, you know, who knows? We're going to see. And we do have a third queen is on the field, which I always love to see. Just have that 1 queen on dedicated creep tumor duty. Of course, it will be moving over to the third expansion as soon as that's done, but in the meantime, it's able to use up its extra energy. We do have a spine crawler coming down at the front, and we do see the Baneling nest again. So I think the tech for this game is going to be real similar to what we saw. We are going to see the Ling Baneling Mutaplay, and that spire is somewhere. There it is, right at the natural. But as soon as it goes down, Puma, he's on top of it. He knows what's going on. He knows when to scan. That is just excellent game sense from Puma. He sees the spires coming down, but he knows it's not going to be up for some time. And the Baneling speed is being researched. In the meantime, we are seeing once again double engineering bays, but remember, they're not going to have the extra early gas like they did last game. So the upgrades will be slightly delayed. But these 2 Hellions are going to go up into the third, and the rocks are not done. And this is a ton of drones. They can all go down. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them have gone down, and that was just great timing by Puma. He caught them right before the destructible rocks could go down, so there's no reinforcements. And now we have 12 Zerglings coming onto the field. They do have speed, and the double Hellions are keeping close to the mineral line so that they cannot be surrounded, and they are going to work. We now have 32 Lings in production. Spire is still not done, and the Queen is going to go down. Looks like these 2 drones may go down as well. The Zerglings are trying to save them. Yes, the Zerglings will save, and we do have more Zerglings are going to pull in, but the Siege Tank is right next to a mineral line along with all the Marines and Hellions, and I hope he does not lose this third because that would be a huge loss. But there are plenty of Speedlings now on the field. But wow, what a great timing push, great time sense, game sense by Puma. The spine crawler has been repositioned, but where are the Lings? There's 18 more in production. It looks like all the Lings have been taken out. They're going to spawn right on top of them, which is kind of a little bit of advantage to Zerg. Sometimes you do spawn in the right time. Other times you just spawn, and it is not where you want to spawn. But that time he was able to pull down. We do have a starport being brought down. 1-1 research is on the way for Puma, in addition to STEM. And wow, what a great time. He got 11 workers out of that. Actually, he did have 1. There might have been another one that I missed earlier. So he got probably 9 or 10 workers just from that push. Very, very good timing from Puma, which of course he was able to move out his third during that push, and I am just kind of concerned for Dimaga. I'll pull up the income tab right now. He is still ahead, but man, if he had gotten up that third with the early saturation, he's just now moving over the drones, he would have been in a much better position, and this is not where you want to be versus a Terran player. Of course, now he does have his own response. He's bringing out the mutas. Last game, they got shut down pretty hard by the missile turrets, but the turret is not up at the third. It looks like there are turrets at the main and the natural. They're going to try to pick up the siege tank. Yes, they are going to get 1 siege tank, which is a nice gain. But like I said, I still think he needs to do a bit more. And wow, we just jumped up to 70 harvesters from 55. So he is droning hard right now, trying to get ahead in the macro, which he will very quickly if he's able to pull down some harass here. Remember, Puma has just finished his third. And let's go ahead and pull up the production tab once again. But the upgrades are rolling in for Puma, and I do not see any. There are not any in production. We now have double Evo chambers, but keep in mind, he's now working on 2-2, plus a combat shield is coming down, and it looks like tank, or I'm sorry, well, yes, the tank attack, but it looks like the mech are getting their attack upgrades as well, so Puma is going to be well ahead in the upgrade game which it really looks like that's how he likes to play, is getting those early upgrades, kind of just being able to be more powerful with each unit that he has. Now we are getting some creep spread into the middle of the map, and the 4th is coming down. I do like the Overlord spread. Not over here, but I do like the Overlord spread that we're seeing from Dimaga down the sides of the map, which are going to allow him to see for any drops. But like I said, I don't think drops are that powerful on this map, simply because look how close these are. The running distance is not that far. Unfortunately, the rocks were here earlier, which did play out quite well for Puma, but now that the rocks are down, drops probably aren't going to be that powerful. We're seeing a lot of banelings come in. We're now moving up to Hive Tech. He's just now getting 1-1, is just now starting, and Combat Shield is finishing. In the meantime, we are actually, the armor hadn't started yet, so this is going to be a 2-1 Marine Force, and these mutas are moving into the back of the field. They were able to do some damage, but the missile turrets are staying up, and they're warding off the mutas quite well. And do we have a drop? Yes, we do have a drop that got into his base. And where are the units? Here are the banelings. They are going to be able to ward this off quite easily. And the mutas are pulling back to try to pick off the medivac. Now dropping into the main. We're going to try to pick off a couple overlords. Will they be able to? They'll probably get 1, maybe 2. They are trying to go for the Spire possibly. No, they're continuing on the overlords. They know that they will not have the time or do it. But great trolley moves. He's moving up and down, continuing to harass with these overlords. Now picking up a couple drones. And finally, here's the response from Dimaga. Question is, was that drop really worth it? And I think it was probably an even exchange. He took down, I think, about 2 overlords. He got a bunch in the yellow, but did not finish them off. At the meantime, we were seeing another drop into the 4th, and the Zerglings are ready for it this time. In addition, these mutas are going to come in. The Zerglings are, of course, going to file to try to keep ground support, but the mutas are going to get to the medivac before it can cross this field. It's going to try to cross because it knows, Puma knows that if you just drop here, all of the lings would kill them before the mutas. He tried to make it across the crevice, but he could not. We do have Thors on the field this game. I thought he would have picked them up last game, but he did not. And, of course, we are seeing now the +3 attack for the ground forces is coming in for his Marines. 2 medivacs, 3 siege tanks are out on the middle of the field. Let's take a look at the Army tab and our supply. It looks like Zerg player is slightly ahead, which is where we'd expect. Army size is quite equal. However, remember, Puma does have the upgrades flowing in his advantage right now. He has not, however, taken his 4th, and now we just have the swarm moving out into the field. And this is what I'm talking about with this map, is that it is extremely open. There are no narrow choke points for Puma to really defend at. And his only choices are, well, what are you going to do? I mean, you can stay in the middle of the tower. He is controlling the middle of the tower, middle of the map. He is controlling the Zelnaga tower, but it looks like Dimaga possibly either going to go for a flank. Remember, last time when he just tried to bust down the front door, he actually lost his entire army. So I think he might go for a flank here. Banelings are moving in, but the tanks are sieged up, and I think these Banelings are going to go down too fast. Yes, all the Banelings are going to go down before they even hit their mark. So that was definitely a poor play for Dimaga, but he might be able to take down these siege tanks, but is this worth it? And I'm really not sure, because all of the Banelings were taken out too quickly, the missile turrets, and now the Thors are even going to work, and that was a bad decision for Dimaga. And there's a drop back in the natural again, and these Banelings are just running in circles right now. Even with the short run distance, this game is not looking good for Dimaga at all. It's the same mistakes we saw last game, where he has this nice army able to take on the Terran, but he decides to run into the base, and his army gets vaporized from 2 sides. Now 4 siege tanks. 4, I cannot count. This is 5 siege tanks outside the 4th, and this is going to be a huge blow considering that his natural is mined out, and we do have a command center coming down in the 6 o'clock location for Puma, and I am just not seeing how Dimaga is going to hope to get in this game. Pulling up the army tab right now, he does have a decent army. There's a lot of corruptors, and I'm guessing that he might be going for the Broodlords again. However, going back to a production tab, he has decided to go with the Ultras. He does have the Ultra Pit, and he just now is finishing the 2-2. I do not believe we have the crack upgrade. Or, yes, we do. I missed that upgrade earlier. So we do have cracklings on the field. And they will be 2-2 cracklings. But this Terran force is still just sitting out in the middle while the 4th is being taken. And, yes, it is being turned into a planetary. And another Spire is being taken down. Another Spire is being built right now. My apologies. Looks like when he dropped into natural, he did kill off the Spire. And now he's trying to move his way up. There are only 2 tanks sieged up. The rest are sieging, but these Corruptors really aren't going to be doing much now because he lost the Spire. He was not able to make the Broodlords and had to transition. But this is a lot of things going to pull in. But that is the GG for Dimaga. And that... wow, that is actually going to be game. And I believe that is going to be the last game of the series. And like I said, just the same mistake that we saw in the last game. So just really trying to push in on Puma and getting annihilated. I hope you guys enjoyed this game. This has been another LOL Mooncast. Please subscribe, and I'll signing off.